So I grew up on the south end of Denver. Well, I think the first challenge that my family kind of faced was the challenge of overactivism, you know, where you're doing everything. You have to be the best at academics. You got to play the instruments. You got to be in every sport. Start building this kind of, you know, curriculum vitae for your college applications from a very early age. And it started to burn me out. And so I started to look for ways to medicate just the exhaustion. And it started in kind of social life with friends. And then it eventually just led down the typical path of, you know, freshman year it started into alcohol and partying. And then it led into a sequence of drugs, fish concerts and whatnot. I became someone that I never expected to be without even realizing what I was doing. Intellectual doctrine and moral obligation. That's what the Catholic Church was. Both of which looked like oppression to my intellect, doctrinally, and oppression to my will, morally. One of the good ways that we started to deal with the kind of the excessive overactivity of life and kind of the cutthroat atmosphere of the academics that we were in was we started going outdoors. But the suffering was I think this really profound frustration with my life and realizing that the ways that the world is telling me to medicate are not satisfying, and that the alcohol and the drugs and the women, it's just never enough, and that it's just frustrating me on a more profound level, all the while making me more and more selfish. The suffering was the suffering of a soul who's lost but doesn't even know he's lost. That's the tragic suffering that I think was happening in high school. I just felt victimized in some ways too. What the culture said, this is what it means to be a real man. Suffering is the way to knowledge of God, because the cross is the glory for the Christian. I was actually walking away from the conference and he came out after me. I didn't know him, I'd never seen him. After about a 3-hour conversation, he heard my confession, and to this day, he doesn't know that that was the definitive moment of my life. July 14th, 2001. He doesn't know that a year later I entered seminary and am now a Catholic priest. He left the 99 and went after the 1. And I realized that the church was the instrument by which God gave his love. And I experienced it that night. And I experienced Christ no longer as an idea or as some kind of historical religious figure, but as the answer to the question of my existence. And I've been captivated by that moment of what happened in adoration that night for the last decade. And it will be for the rest of my life. I think the adventure that we're looking for in the mountains is participating in that deeper spiritual adventure in some way.